Welcome. This is the show by me, Crunch.
And I am Stool.
And this is...
Who cares what I think?
Who cares what I think?
But seriously, I mean, you specifically, absolutely no one.
I do not care.
No. You don't care, I don't care, and they shouldn't either.
None of you.
Honestly, no. So, tell me, Crunch, how was your week?
It was pretty good.
I don't care. Okay. Here's the... let's start with this, right? This is a standard format episode. We're gonna do something. What? Why are you looking at me?
Format?
Listen,
no one cares what you think.
Listen, I am setting the table on some pretty important shit here.
Okay.
So you just sit back and listen.
Yes.
Okay? Because last week we did something special.
That's right. We had the Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Exactly. We did the Fuck, Marry, Kill. And now we're going to do more standard format.
That's right.
Get it?
Standard.
Exactly. Standard format, which means...
an extra long episode.
I suppose,
for all of you listeners out there.
And that's what I was getting to. We have a name for our fan base.
Because it's only one person.
Because it's only one person as far as we're concerned, right? Like, the first person essentially sets the table for everybody. And that first person is an Eric, which means all of you right now are just Erics.
All of you are Eric.
Exactly. And if you send us anything, if you suggest anything, you're just all Erics to us. Right? Now, look, I'm not saying that in any way like we're superior and we are more important individuals, but we are.
But we don't care.
Really are. But again, who cares about what we think?
No one cares.
No one. So, which is why you're here. So, Crunch,
yes.
You had a specific topic in mind, and you threw it my way, and I went, holy mother of fuck. So, please, set the table. What are we going to start this conversation with?
So, there's a movie.
There is.
That has come out.
In fact, there are many movies that have come out over the years.
This one specifically has come out.
Yes, this has.
Called The Lighthouse. So this is a movie that I have not seen, but I have a lot to talk about.
And here's the thing, I have seen that movie.
Right. So we're going to hear what you think
after
I say what I think.
Right.
Because I did not see the movie, and let's see if my opinion matches to the reality.
But you've seen the trailer, right?
I have seen the trailer.
Okay. So, first of all, what were your impressions from the trailer of The Lighthouse?
So, when I watched the trailer, the first thing I noticed was it looks very supposedly artistic. It looked really homoerotic. So I assume that Patterson and Defoe are having some kind of cabin fever, but just black and white, because usually cabin fever happens in color. And
racist.
Less artistically.
That is racist.
Okay.
Wait, his name is not Patterson.
It's not Patterson?
No.
What's his name?
I don't know. Who's that? Look, he's a sparkly vampire. No. Okay, what's his full name?
I think it's Patterson.
No, really?
James Patterson.
No, his name is not. His name is not.
I just made up the first name. It's some name. I
am not going to look that up because that's considered research.
But
and I'm not.
It is Patterson. Patterson is most well known for his quote-unquote acting, where he portrayed an abusive boyfriend and later a husband, and he isolates his wife and involves her in his family gang wars. So you might know it as Twilight. And it was
that's pretty
horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. I mean,
all took us by surprise.
Yeah.
That so many teenage girls were just very in love with sparkly vampires.
Look, I can't lie. I did fap to it.
Of course.
Everyone did, and that's the point. It doesn't mean that it's good. In fact, that is a prime indicator that it's pure trash.
Bad it is.
Yes.
We all fap to it.
Intensely.
And yeah. So, The Lighthouse seems like the kind of movie that I assume no one will see. So I'm very surprised that you saw it.
Many people actually saw it.
I don't understand why. And here is another part to that. So there's so many movies that were made with lighthouses. I looked this up. Here is a list of movies with a light about or have light.
About or just that have have a lighthouse somewhere in them?
Probably have a lighthouse in them.
Okay.
So, The Vanishing, Light Between Oceans, Captain Sanctuary with Shirley Temple, Manina the Girl in the Bikini, and So Die Sonne Kalt Ist.
You're just making these up.
No, these are
not real movies.
I've not seen any of them.
Okay.
And there was also Shutter Island.
I have seen that one.
Which Leo DiCaprio's face gets extremely wide during the movie, and before the movie. Actually, he just comes
Right,
there with a white
it's him
face.
versus the Mandarin from Iron Man.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, vividly.
There's a lighthouse in it, and
Yes, there is.
I actually enjoyed that movie.
And there's an island in it too.
There's an island.
Okay.
I don't know why I shudder.
Wait. Oh, hold on. So why are we counting all the movies that have a fucking lighthouse in them?
Because no one watches Lighthouse movies except for Shutter Island. No one has
That's
seen
the
any of
point?
these movies. Why would they
Okay.
watch this movie? It looks terrible.
Because of the lighthouse.
Because it's two people in a lighthouse, and it looks like it's supposed to be a drama. Like, why do I care about these people?
Okay, so if you
They're
had to,
in a lighthouse.
if you had to, and we don't care about anybody who's in a lighthouse. Like, if you're a human
Probably not.
being, doesn't matter if you have a family, doesn't matter if you had a whole
Why
life
are you
behind
in a
you. If you are in a lighthouse, fuck off. You can
Because it's
die
fucking
horribly.
creepy. Oh, it's like those the movie that they just made, the first of the 3-book movie. With what's her name? She was Queen something in the new Star Wars.
Queen something.
Oh my god.
You know Daenerys Targaryen?
No. In the Star Wars movies.
Is it Queen?
Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman was in them.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, Queen Amidala.
We'll get to that.
All right.
So she was in these movies.
Okay.
The books are really good. The movie has a lighthouse. That was one that you
I
could
really
see.
like that. That's what you're picking from this. Like, the fact that it has a lighthouse in
I'm
it.
just saying that, like, it's such a random thing that, like, white people go and look at sometimes on trips, that, like, why would you make a whole movie about this?
I think
Or
people
about
are
people who
fascinated
live
by lighthouses.
Why are
They're
they
always kind of,
fascinated?
because first off, it looks like a giant penis.
Oh, that's a
Let's
good
just
point.
put that out
It's a
there.
very good point.
It's a giant penis on
Lighthouses
an
are
island.
just like penises.
Right, exactly. You see a big
They don't have to be on
beacon.
an island. They
What?
just have to be on the edge of land.
On the edge of land, like any giant penis, right? You don't want to get it too close to
The edge of your
civilization.
body.
The edge of your body, you just have a giant fucking Florida-sized penis, okay? That is shining light at everybody.
And syphilitic.
Right, and absolutely. Because they're always really old, and there's only one weird person who smells like fish that operates them.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to operate a lighthouse, really?
That's a very strange person that would.
Right, and it's always like associated with like New England towns and stuff like
murder.
that. And murder, right? Like, and yeah. So
You have
that's
a
why.
scary ass house
Exactly.
that you may or may not be choosing to live in.
It's a
with
spooky
William
setting.
Dafoe
Yeah, which is the
and
the
a
one.
possibly abusive
Look,
vampire.
Look, there's no matter what, you never want to be stuck with William Dafoe in the same place for too
no.
long. You just don't. That's just the rule of life.
Exactly.
That's your PSA for today.
Eric 101 of life, do not get stuck anywhere with William Dafoe.
Right. So. Okay, let me just throw something out there. As far as I'm concerned, when I was watching this movie, and here's the caveat: I know that reviewers loved it. Oh, wait. Before we get in, yes, it got really
I did
good
not
reviews.
enjoy the trailer.
Very good, and I did not enjoy the movie. Neither did my partner. But it's been very widely acclaimed. Like, people just jack off to it
I've
nowadays.
never heard of it before Eric told me about
Well,
it.
there you go. Now you know about it, and a lot of people really are raving about it. Now, before I get in, there is a restriction.
This is my face. It's
One
shocking.
I
It's
know.
shocked. Well, my face is shocking.
Your face
but
is
I am
shocking,
so shocked
but you're
at
also
this.
shocked right now.
I can't believe it.
So here's what all the Erics of the world need to know right now. So there is a restriction that was laid on me with this review. So when me and my partner, this is backstory time. Okay, that came out a little bit like a 60s bathroom. Okay.
That's
so just yes, imagine like a toilet. There we go.
Yes.
That's the stool transition. So back stool transition. So
what would a crunch
Back-
transition be?
I don't know, something like that. Something gets cracked and like a nut just
Someone
gets like
eating a nut.
yeah, nut busting.
Busting.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yes.
yeah.
There you go. Why
Okay.
do we always have to go there? Why?
Because
Why?
it's your fault.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay.
Okay.
So Eric said to watch The
Eric
Lighthouse.
said so. Context to why I watched The Lighthouse, because I didn't go just because I saw that trailer and
You went to you.
It was a
paid to
birthday.
Watch it?
Yes, but it was for a friend's party. So one of my Erics,
Mm-hmm.
right? He basically decided to do a surprise party for his girlfriend. Okay. At the Lighthouse movie.
That reminds me of when I was in whatever grade it was that Titanic came out, and we had to watch that movie because it was a birthday girl's decision.
That's weird, and
torturous.
we will have to discuss this later.
Oh,
because,
yes, we should do
my
the
God.
Titanic. Okay,
yeah,
yes.
we should absolutely. So his idea was well. Initially, the motivation was pretty good. He went like, well, he showed me the trailer, and he went, "This will either be the most hilarious thing ever, like it's either going to be really so bad it's good, or it's going to actually be good." And I'm like, well, okay, fine. You're a friend. And he wanted to do this for his girlfriend and for all the friends to show up in the movie, right? Without her knowing that they're supposed to be there. So we kind of showed up and it was a whole surprise. It was really sweet. It was really sweet.
Lighthouse, and she's like,
well, that wasn't
we need to break
she
up.
knew.
Like, I've had enough of this.
Yes, yeah, that's a whole other story. But it was a really sweet thing, right? So basically, we were like, okay, I don't have patience for this shit, but I'm gonna put up with it because I love you guys and I regret it. So.
This is why you never love anybody.
Right, exactly.
Eric, stop it. Stop loving
that's
people.
why you never love your Erics. Like, so anyway. So we show up in this movie, and me and my partner suffered greatly. Right now, flash forward. We look it up afterwards, and everybody else loved it.
Who's everybody else?
All the other Erics. Eric,
you like this movie?
Listen, Eric A, Eric Alpha, Eric Prime,
Optimus Eric,
Eric Sigma. I don't know.
Eric
all the
Squirrel.
Right, Eric Adolf. I don't know. Listen, all the Erics loved it, and the reviewers loved it. Right. To me, and he laid this restriction afterwards because I told him like, we're gonna do the Lighthouse, and he was like, okay, here is something that you have to do. You have to go through this entire review without using, and this is the only time I will use this word now, pretentious. I am not allowed to say pretentious throughout this. Yes.
You use this word quite often.
I do, and this movie demands it like that. If I had
Unrelated to the movie, you use this word often.
That's true. And if I had to just like sum this movie up in one word, it would be pretentious.
But you can't use it.
But now I can't use it.
Okay,
right?
So we're not using a thesaurus.
We're not using a
Can't
thesaurus or or a tyrannosaurus or anything. Like we have to go through this without saying the word pretentious. Okay, so let's see how this goes.
All right.
Okay. So if you had
one question before you start.
Oh boy. Okay.
How slow is this movie? Because it looked like very dramatic. Like you find out things 7 hours into the movie. That kind of movie. It's generally, I guess it's slow. Well, it's 2 hours, so it feels like it lasts forever. It's so
really
out of
long.
the 7 hours that this movie goes on for, when do things
it
actually
feels like
start
7
happening?
hours.
Okay. So let's hear, what did you think about the Lighthouse?
First, I want to know.
His name is Patterson.
Hold on, Patterson. Sure, Patterson and the Green Goblin.
James
so
Patterson.
Before that, I want to see based on the trailer, what do you think the movie's about?
I said it was a homoerotic experience with cabin fever. I think it's going to be like...
You know what? That's not that far off. But...
No, what was the cowboy movie that everyone was into many years ago?
Brokeback Mountain?
Yes, I think it's like
the one with the Joker
Mountain.
And Mysterio?
Yes.
Mysterio?
So Brokeback Mountain, but this was with the Green Goblin, with Green Goblin and a sparkly vampire.
Who's now going to be Batman. He's the next Batman. He is the next
Some
Batman.
Part of me died.
Yep. There aren't many parts left, so...
Like, my Horcrux, ouch!
Yeah. Your Horcrux.
Nah.
Anyway, all right. So I won't go too deeply into what this movie is about, but because there's not much there.
Because you can't use the word pretentious.
There's not. Because I can't use the word pretentious. But I can describe it this way. So... You haven't gone to film school. I unfortunately have. So
I took a film class.
Okay. So you know how like in film class or in film school or anything like that, you always have like these certain movies that your teachers will show you. Some of them
will be jerking off to those forever. Like
absolutely.
Breathless and all these other.
Yeah, there's like a ton.
Important.
Citizen Kane and look, a lot of them like you kind of get what they're going for, and then you have the movies. Like some of them are canonic and they are important. You get this set the table on all of these things. Great. And then you have the one movie that you just like. This is a load of fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, this is bullshit. Oh, yes. Like it's all the French New Wave has set up a lot of stuff, but man, it's full of fluff. You've kind of like there's a limit. I'm sorry, there's a limit. Now here's the thing.
And guess what? No one really thinks. No one cares what we think.
No one cares what we think.
We don't care what we think.
But everything that we say is the truth.
Everything.
So every
so
single.
Eric, you have to listen.
So all the Erics of the world, which are you guys, have to listen to what we're saying.
One guy.
And basically preach it. Because you are now under our command and will listening to this is basically brainwashing you to think like us. So
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, apologies for that, but no apologies.
No apologies.
It's your problem. You're listening. So. Okay, so it looks like
spoiler alert.
Right.
We may or may not talk about the actual movie called The Lighthouse.
Yeah, correct. So if you haven't watched it, you probably shouldn't.
Let's just not talk about this and talk about Shutter Island.
Just talk about Shutter Island. You know what? Well, you'll draw comparisons as I go.
Okay.
Although there aren't a lot of them, but maybe
there is
just
a
a
lighthouse?
hallucination. There is definitely a lighthouse. Yes.
Okay, so we can totally do
There is
comparison.
certainly a lighthouse.
Okay.
So I will say this entire movie is kind of it's very Lovecraftian. There's a whole descent into madness. There's a big mermaid vagina in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mermaids have vaginas?
Yes, they do, and apparently it's fucking massive.
Wait.
It is huge.
Wait,
you
what
can
you talking
stick
about?
like 20 dicks in that thing. Okay.
20?
20. It depends on the size, but but average size 20 dicks.
So it's about like a torso-sized vagina. At
It's
least.
there. It's there.
Where does she put it? Like she doesn't have a lower.
She
half
doesn't
of her
really
body.
put it right. It doesn't. It's unclear. It's like a snapshot. Like they kind of show it really
I always
quick.
kind of assumed that mermaids just like procreate through like an egg system, like fish. Like they would lay eggs, and someone would come and like.
Where would they
put
lay them
sperm
from?
From a butthole. I don't know. Like
Right, and where's the butthole? Like
On the back.
See, there's a whole bunch of anatomical issues, but yeah, there's definitely mermaid sex
maybe they're
going on.
more like sea cucumbers, where they have one entrance, one exit.
Hot. First of all, I would watch that porn over and over again.
One girl, one cup.
One girl, one pot, one
That's
cup.
it.
One girl,
That's all you get.
one cup, one
mermaid.
sea cucumber. No, one sea pickle. Anyway.
One sea pickle.
Which is probably my.
Under the sea
This is
and
probably how I'm going to rate this movie: one sea pickle and a mermaid vagina.
So that's already a
So
rating.
it's already a rating.
So you make
But-
your decision if you want to see it.
So it's a whole thing about these two guys who arrive at this like island. It's all shifts, right? So they have to get there.
Are they
They're
in the
gonna
same
spend.
shift?
Yes. So it's William Dafoe, and he's the boss. He's
Who's
like
on
the
the second
lighthouse
shift?
keeper. The two people leave, right? And these guys come in. Into
And we
the
don't
island.
talk to the other two people.
No, we just see them kind of walk away.
Are
and
they
nobody
also
cares.
vampires?
Possibly, potentially. You know what? I care about their story. You know why? Because the whole idea is we were supposed
get
to
to
spend.
leave.
They get to live, and they spend.
Oh, I meant leave.
Oh, leave, yes. And live. And they spend like 4 weeks is the length of like a shift on this
Jesus.
island. Yeah,
So
you're
a
kind of
month.
just stuck. It's a month, right? So the guys who left, they're a good example. Right? They just left and they're like, yeah, this was fine. This is just the job. But what's the big deal? Like, these are the normal people. I want to know what they did correctly. Because the guys coming in, it's just a descent into madness, right? So they come in, and here's the character, just William Dafoe is playing William Dafoe. So first off, so he's fucking insane.
He plays himself.
He plays himself. So you know the amazing scene, like the only scene that is truly worthwhile and really iconic in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie is William Dafoe in front of the mirror just talking to himself as a Green Goblin. Like that is amazing. That is
So that happens in the lighthouse.
that's basically all of the Lighthouse as far as William Dafoe goes. Right? Like, I'm gonna kill Spider-Man. No. but no.
That's
so
how you know he's descending into madness. Because
he's a Captain Ahab motherfucker. Like he's
Okay.
like limping around and he's talking like Captain Ahab.
Very salty fellow.
Well, he's kind of fun. Like he's the really fun thing about this movie because he's super over the top, right?
lovely.
So he
William
talks like
Dafoe
a
over the
pirate.
top.
It's William Dafoe talking like a pirate and jerking off in front of the lighthouse light. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
there's
there is a vagina.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, so this is one of my problems. It looks like somebody went to film school, saw one of those French New Wave movies, and went like, I need to do that.
But
I
not
need a
French.
movie that people will sit afterwards and just talk
Circle
about all
jerk.
the circle jerk and talk about all the symbolism that we've seen like a million fucking times, but I'm gonna shove a lot of it into the movie and it's gonna come off as really, really deep, but it really
So let's
isn't.
talk about the symbolism after.
Oh,
you give your
like
full
fish
review.
vagina, yeah. So
Okay.
fish vagina, lighthouse's penis, like you have the whole thing. It's great. So
Freudian, okay.
oh yeah, it goes everywhere. It's Lovecraftian, Freudian. They literally have that. Actually pissed me off. Like the ending is literally the Prometheus story, right? Like he's
What?
getting his insides pecked by
Aliens.
like aliens. No, he's getting his insides pecked like by the seagulls. It's a whole fuck it. Pattinson.
Patterson.
So it's Pattinson.
No,
Fuck
it's
you.
not.
Fuck you. It's Pattinson, not
What is he?
Patterson.
No, that's the bear.
It's Robert Pattinson.
Wait, which one is the bear?
What bear?
There's a bear. Patterson?
Paddington?
Paddington!
Jesus.
Same
Fucking
thing.
Christ. Which, by the way, was a really cute movie.
It was cute.
Right?
Yeah.
It was adorable. I also
Adorable.
that one I fapped to like 5 times. And they were all equally good. So
all equally good.
all
faps.
equally good.
So Paddington, the movie,
So
gets
Pat-
5 equally good.
Right.
faps.
Equally good faps.
That is the review.
Right? Yep. And 1 clean sheet.
Okay.
Bed sheet. So
Bed sheet.
yeah. So anyway, Paddington Bear stuck with the Green Goblin in the lighthouse.
Yes.
Okay, now Paddington is not very nice. Unlike his own movie, in this one, he's kind of he doesn't want to talk
he's
much
still
about
abusive.
himself. So he's abusive, but he's a guy who basically is trying to run away from his past. Now, I will say this.
You're in a lighthouse, of course you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you do this job otherwise?
You're there because you love people and you're a people pleaser.
Yeah,
No.
it seems to me like the guy who created this movie did not want to tell a story. This was not somebody
Just
trying
hiding
to
as
tell a
much
story.
as he can.
No, he didn't do this out of passion. Hey, I want to tell an interesting story and I care about my characters. It's I want to shove as much like symbolism and atmosphere into this, and he wants people to tear his movie apart after they watch it, but not because they're passionate about what he's trying to say, but because he was trying to say it. If that makes sense. Listen, I'm not allowed to use that one word. So,
I know.
so these are the instruments that I get to play with, okay? Aside from my own instrument.
Okay.
So that's the way I felt about it. I'm like, okay, so you're doing all of it. And it's well crafted, like, but yeah, it just felt like, but no, there was, okay, this was 2 hours of just like
7 hours.
escalating, 7 hours of like this escalating friction between these two characters. And this was the interesting part. So
One
they're
of them
stuck
doesn't
together.
want to talk, and one is willing to foe. Why is
Was-
there friction?
I know.
One just talks to himself. One is like, this guy's
Kind
crazy, and he
of, but
keeps
he's also
to
kind of
himself.
a, like, William Dafoe's kind of abusive towards him because he's his worker, and he just kind of treats him like shit, and the guy just wants to start a new life. Anyway, after 4
can
weeks,
start a new
they
life
they
for
ma-
shit.
they manage to survive this thing. Like, they go 4 weeks, and they're like, fine. There's a lot of weird shit that happens
But you said
along
his
the way.
insides were picked out, and he
In the
had
end,
sex with a
that was the
mermaid.
end. Yeah,
Oh.
that all comes in the end, right? And so did I.
And they come in
And
the
so
end.
did I. So anyway, they go through this whole thing, and then in 4 weeks, like a storm comes, and there's a whole thing about like, oh, he's telling him it's bad luck to kill a seagull because the souls of dead sailors are in them. It's a whole setup
Jesus.
that is really shoved into the whole thing. But he kills a seagull in a fucking hilarious scene where he just like slams the seagull
How does
like
he
on
catch
the,
it? With Cheetos?
with his hands.
Oh.
Yeah, just with his hands, just like picks it up and bashes
How?
it. It's a, you know what?
How do you catch a seagull? Those
It was
things
just
are
standing
huge, by the way.
Yes. He was standing in front of him and yelling in his face, the seagull. Yeah.
What?
He's going,
Please
yeah.
tell me it was Paddington.
Yeah, Paddington does it. Yeah, Paddington just grabs the seagull and fucking smashes it on the brick.
Oh my God.
And it's hilarious. Like
Why?
that part I laughed so hard.
Why?
Good question. So anyway,
See,
does this
wait. Let's talk about the symbolism of Paddington Bear killing a seagull.
Oh.
Or Patterson.
that was a big turning point because the implication is that that's what caused the bad luck that follows. Like, so a big storm
So don't
comes
kill
in.
seagulls.
Don't kill seagulls because they
Eric,
have
be respectful. Give them
Right.
your Doritos and Cheetos
Right.
or whatever you have.
there is souls of dead sailors in them.
It's very...
It's very
weird.
bullshitty. And yeah, they have a. Never mind. I won't even get into it. So
That
he
was
kills the
very
seagull. Then a
superstitious.
storm comes. Yeah, very superstitious. A storm comes and they get stranded in that place, and they don't know how long they're going to be stuck there.
They got stranded on a lighthouse.
in the lighthouse on this island, right? So isolated from everything.
Okay, that
And
explains
they're
the cabin fever.
Exactly. So that explains the cabin fever, and they kind of go insane, and it's a
knew it.
whole thing. And from that point on, it just goes full blown insanity. So you have the mermaid visions and other visions that kind of imply what happened in Paddington's past. You know, before he became a bear that went on a train station. Apparently, he murdered someone. Never mind. So here's the thing.
You almost sound...
There is a nugget.
Interesting.
There is a nugget of something interesting in this movie, which
is
was very frustrating.
mermaid
If
vagina.
this was that was definitely interesting, but in fact, I would say if this was just a movie about these two characters and their, you know, descent into madness as they get stranded on this island, and they just focus on the actual characters and not on all the deep symbolism they're trying to shove into this and the meaning behind it. Like, fuck all of this fluff that you tried to put in. If it really just focused on these two characters, I would be down with it.
Then it would be like The Beach.
Yeah,
The Beach was an awesome book. The movie was pretty okay, I thought.
sure.
I like the virtual scene, like the video game scene.
But that's the point. Like, there was a nugget of an interesting movie, but it never.
Madness.
I don't care about any of these characters, and I know very little about them by the end of the movie. I know less about them in the end of the movie, and that doesn't actually make for a more interesting film. It's a circle jerk.
Lovely.
But a lot of the visions do have interesting visuals, I would say.
Ooh.
It's stupid as hell, and it's goofy because you don't care much, and because it's fluff, but you definitely have William Dafoe getting punched in the face. Wait, he's on the floor getting punched in the face by Paddington Bear, and then all of a sudden he looks
that
like...
was in the trailer, I think.
Oh, really?
I'm possibly.
Looks like he looks like Poseidon at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a whole...
Which one? Defoe?
Defoe looks like Poseidon, gets punched in the face, and then he gets like... There's literally... When I realized that I'm completely alone in this movie theater, because I think only me and my partner really were
Stayed
like, oh my
until the end?
God. No,
Oh.
we were the only ones suffering, I think.
Lovely.
But we're just sitting like, oh my God, please stop. So there's a scene like right after a lot of the insanity gets shot. Oh. Speaking of
Spoiler alert.
So any artsy movie, definitely a spoiler. Any artsy movie, and this is just when I check out, any movie that's trying to be artistic and Paddington Bear.
Can't say it.
I know.
Can't say it.
Any movie
Let's just
like
say
that
black and white.
has to have a masturbation scene.
There is a masturbation
There
scene.
is multiple masturbation scenes.
Well, they are two men alone on an island with William
Sure. But here's the thing. It's very specific type of like artistic movies that just have to have
artistic masturbation.
Yes, artistic masturbation.
Oh.
Fuck that shit. You know what? Fuck it.
Artistic masturbation
Yep.
scenes are the
It's
worst.
artistic masturbation. And I went like, no, you know what? No, I went through film school. This is, no.
Nothing
stop.
artistic about that.
Nothing. Let's just not do that. And then they have to cut between that and seeing a lighthouse. Oh, I get it. It's a penis metaphor, man. Like, come on. Come on. Look, I get, I am the master of penis metaphors, and I don't care.
Oh, the
And I don't claim
masturbation
it's
is
deep.
the storm.
What?
I don't know.
You know what?
There you go. Symbolism.
Sure, symbolism. No, it's so full of bullshit like that,
And
right?
semen.
And semen. Yeah.
All kinds of semen.
there's a whole thing.
Unintended.
There's literally like semen symbolism as well. And listen, it is so
The seagull.
boilerplate,
Yeah.
like artsy fartsy movie bullshit.
A woman made this movie, yes?
No,
Of course not.
No, definitely not. And you could tell. But that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody really gave a shit about the characters or the story behind it. They just tried to shove as much, like, hey, look at this. This is really
As much penis
deep
symbolism
and
as-
references. It's all the references you can possibly shove into something so that you can't see how hollow it actually is.
That's why it was such a big mermaid vagina.
That
Wait,
was-
was it real or was it a vision?
It was so they try to make it unclear if
But
it
it was a
was.
vision.
It was a vision.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a vision-ish thingy. But yeah, there's masturbation and coming all over the place, which is how you know it's an arty-farty movie.
And a lighthouse.
It's
Because what else are you going to do?
Exactly. What else are you gonna do? I'm okay with that. Like, also a lot of William Dafoe farts, but I found that hilarious. He farts a lot in the movie. He farts a lot. He's really funny in it, and I think sometimes it's not intentional, but he's really funny in it anyway.
Okay, how good... So, on a scale of 1 to 10, if this movie is like a 2, how good would it be if Paddington was not in it at all? Like, it was the same
He was
scene,
actually
the same
no.
thing.
The actors do a really good job.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're no complaints there. It's
So
really
the acting was good.
The acting was good. The filmography, like everything, cinematography, everything that they did from a technical perspective is well done. It is just so full of its own.
It's just the symbolism.
It's just
Okay.
the smell of farts. I can't.
That was the symbolism.
I
It was
could.
the
It was
smell of
so
farts.
full of fluff. I don't mind symbolism, but it was just buried under references.
That's lovely.
Hey, have you read Greek mythology? Do you recognize this? Fantastic.
Lovely.
It's like this. Do you like Lovecraft? Here's a little bit of that too.
Oh, is
what's
Cthulhu
your
in
movie
there?
about? No, but
So it
there's
wasn't even-
references. No.
All right.
It's just a lot of like, I get what he's going for. Yeah, we all get what you're going for. It's not really that deep.
Okay.
Like, there was no story. This person did not.
a lot of
He
masturbation.
wanted a pat on the back, and now he really got it. But I just think, yeah, this was boring. This
Okay.
was 2 hours.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
There were a lot of entertaining points just because it's William Dafoe and Paddington Bear, and they're fucking hilarious together. Like
Okay.
they did a good job. But yeah, and there's definitely a homoerotic little moment there.
I mean,
I know, sailors.
it's either them or the seagulls.
It's
so.
either them or the seagulls. Yeah. So, how would you rate this movie with everything you know now?
Now everything I know, I would give it
2 dead seagulls.
one abusive vampire and a box of tissues and lotion.
Ooh, very good, very good. I would give it 1 phallic symbol, Paddington Bear's really, really cute hat, and 3 green goblins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So that's my take on The Lighthouse. Now, a lot of people loved it, so go ahead and make sure you bring your lotion and napkins. But I did not enjoy this ride. I just didn't.
Let's just say that we really don't care what you think, and
We
also
really don't.
you shouldn't care what we think
No,
because
you
who
shouldn't.
does? Who
Yeah,
cares
who
what
does?
I think?
But that is our review of The Lighthouse. So
Yeah.
go and judge for yourself. I will say.
I think we should watch Shutter Island
I
again.
hold on
Instead of
before
talking
I
about
completely dispose of The Lighthouse and never think of it again. I will say this to me, especially the really crazy scenes, but everything really, because they have a lot
Any
of
scene is crazy.
they have just like a lot of scenes of him and William Dafoe just like sitting and eating dinner, and it gets really crazy and intense.
Is there a lot of quiet places?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, so artistic.
Oh yeah. Oh, he does all of that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, just staring at things and weird cuts
And
to
getting
like
crazy.
And yeah, but I will say this: the whole movie felt like you're just watching One Weekend in William Dafoe's house. This is just what I would imagine it being like. Just normal weekend in William
If you
Dafoe's
are William
house.
Dafoe, we would love to know what a weekend at your house is like.
No, we wouldn't, because I already know. I watched The Lighthouse.
I didn't.
Giant mermaid
I would still like to hear
vaginas,
it.
dead people, limping around, wrestling, and
That is
punching
William
each other,
Dafoe's
and jacking off all over the place.
All over
That
the
is
place.
literally a weekend
William
with,
Dafoe's
and a lot of yelling and dancing. And, yeah, exactly. Spider-Man. Yeah, so that's it. So, okay. Since you mentioned it like 5 times, I don't have that many memories from Shutter Island except
I've
for...
never seen it. No, I'm kidding. I
What?
loved it.
Okay.
I did see it.
So I don't remember it that vividly. I just remember Leo DiCaprio is on this in this asylum.
So
and,
Detective Wideface and the Hulk are
Right.
in an asylum. There is a murder.
Wait, the Hulk, is it Norton or
No, not Norton. The
Ruffalo?
other dude, Ruffalo.
Oh, okay.
So
Ruffle Waffle.
Ruffle Waffle.
Yeah. The Ruffle Waffle. Okay.
So they're on an island. There's a missing person who is later not a missing person, and
Because they find him. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
yeah.
She comes back.
I remember that the whole. Okay, you go through it and then yeah. Go
So
ahead.
this is my recap. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Like I said, missing person. They find her. It's this like really creepy asylum kind of thing on a lonely island. Everyone's crazy all together. They separate them between severity of craziness, and there's a lighthouse.
Oh my God.
And there's secrets in the lighthouse, and
Mermaid vaginas.
yeah, but there are no mermaid vaginas.
Oh.
None at all.
Wow.
There is, if I remember correctly. Oh no, that's not that movie. I was thinking of the scene where the guy comes in Silence of the Lambs.
What?
When he comes and he throws it at Clarice.
Oh no!
iconic,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, it is
Come
iconic.
on.
I know.
But yeah, very, very severe mental illness. And him and the Hulk have to they go around the island, and the Hulk keeps giving him all these cigarettes. And apparently this is like, again, spoiler, you should have seen it by now. Whatever. So
Yeah,
this
fine.
is all a role play because
he's
Captain
crazy,
Whiteface
right.
has gone through severe trauma and like killed his wife after she killed his kids,
Right.
and he's like dangerous, whatever.
Yeah.
He burned her, something.
And the
with a
Mandarin
fire.
is his doctor who's
Yeah.
trying to. Yeah, I remember.
He's the doctor.
Yeah.
And then at some point they're like, okay, if he doesn't pass this, we're gonna give him a lobotomy. So
Okay.
he
yeah.
may or may not have actually been a detective. We don't know if they're just doing this to him and like
Right.
trying to like silence him for no reason. But yeah, it's a great way to stigmatize mental illness and any kind of asylum who may or may not be trying to help people.
Right.
Just perfect. But yeah, it's really creepy and awesome.
Yeah, but that's a movie that actually cared about the characters and the story. I mean,
But
whether
what
you
about
liked
that
it
woman
or
in the
not.
cave?
What
There was
movie in
the
cave?
woman who used to be a psychiatrist that worked there, and
I
she
don't
was in the
remember
cave.
that movie that well.
All right,
I
if
just
you
remember Ben
know
Kingsley
what the
and
fuck
the
that was
Lighthouse.
about, please just email us or Instagram or Twitter or all the things we're on now.
Was she a mermaid?
She was not a mermaid even,
And she had giant vaginas.
She had no giant vagina. She was a woman in a cave. She was
Ooh, by the
basically
way,
just homeless.
if you ever like, if you ever just sat alone at night and thought to yourself, you know what? I would be really... I think before I die, I want to see...
A mermaid's vagina?
Paddington fuck a mermaid. That's a scene in the Lighthouse. So if you want to see Robert Paddington fuck a mermaid on a beach, then that is the movie for you.
So romantic.
Yeah, he fucks a mermaid. And yeah, I don't think... It's fine.
I'm sure it's just...
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It's as good as you think it is.
Oh, lovely.
It looks as beautiful as you think it
I'm
is.
sure it's short.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
It's two men alone jerking off.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to give the whole movie a log line, it's two men alone jerking off.
There you go. That was the pitch.
Two men alone jerking off in a giant dick.
But it's with Willem Dafoe too. Oh, okay. Let's make this thing.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's Thanksgiving at William Dafoe's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. It's like the Medea movie.
It's the Medea movie.
But with William Dafoe.
You know what? I have never watched a Medea movie.
Oh,
but
I recently have. It was...
What? It's what?
No, I'm kidding. I was going to say it's not pretentious. Okay. It was just surprisingly bad. I thought for some reason I knew it was terrible, but I thought it would be like Scary Movie. You know, the Scary Movie franchise? No. I thought it would be like that kind of bad. This
terrible,
was, like,
and then you like giggle
really
every
bad.
once in a while and feel guilty about it.
No, I didn't even get... It was like, what am I watching? Why is this still on?
No.
I can't believe I watched it this far. And then
what if you had William Dafoe in it?
It would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
There has to be a new
Hollywood.
Instead of Medea, it should be a Dafoe movies.
Hollywood, are you listening to
with
this?
With his chiclet teeth just laughing at things.
Do this. Hollywood, this is your moment. We've just given you a gold nugget.
Eric, write a script.
Exactly. Eric, screenwriters of the world, write this thing.
Please.
Cast William Dafoe in it. It's going to be amazing. Anyway.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that's our rating, and
for the Lighthouse.
Yeah, and I really hope that you don't care about what we think, but just know that if you watch it and you disagree with what we thought about it,
then that's fine for you.
It's fine because you're wrong,
Exactly.
and it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to be a miserable failure as you are. So just be okay with that. You know,
just own it.
You can't be as good as us.
Nope.
Is what I'm trying to say. Right.
Can't.
But I think that should be it for this one.
Yep.
I am Stool.
I'm Crunch.
And this is Who Cares What I Think.
Who cares what I think?
No one gives a fuck.
And,
Good.
Until next time.
Join us next time to a complete waste of your time.
This week's music is by Kumiku. The song is Battle of Pogs from Captain Glue Glue's Incredible Week.
And all the rest of the trash is by Crunch and Stool.